goes on behind these eyes. You don't know the loneliness hidden inside. You don't know I wanna eat you up alive. Come and get to know me, my type of wild. I'm the kind that spins you and hangs you dry. Well, I'm already on to another side. If you gave me your whole life, I would still have room for more. Cause I've got that appetite. Baby, I never feel whole. You might get me through the night, but it will never be enough. It will never be enough. Cause I'm a black girl for your love. Suck you, na na na, to my center of gravity. Cause it's true, na na na, everything they say about me. I'll love you like a supernova, burn into you like a shooting star. Always craving for you to come to me. Though this way of life, no, it ain't healthy, but ain't no other way, it's just what I need. I want all your soul, I want your body. I'm the type that licks her play clean. Don't wanna like I wanna, you can eat. If you gave me your whole life, I would still have room for more. Cause I've got that appetite. Baby, I never feel whole. You might get me through the night, but it will never be enough. It will never be enough. Cause I'm a black girl for your love. You, na na na, to my center of gravity. Cause it's true, na na na, everything they say about me. I'll love you like a supernova, burn into you like a shooting star. If you give me your whole life, I would still have room for more. Cause I've got that appetite. Baby, I never feel whole. You might get me through the night, but it will never be enough. It will never be enough. Cause I'm a black girl for your love.
When you're all alone, do you think about me? Do you think about me? When you're all alone, do you think about me? Think about me? Do you think about me? Do you think about me?
Everybody get come around with the everybody get down. That's right. Everybody get down. Everybody get down.
This shit fucking hard, bro.
Everybody get down. That's right. Everybody get down. Everybody get down.
I'm sorry to everybody else. I gotta go after that.
about me.
Everybody get come around with the everybody get down. That's right. Everybody get down. Everybody get down.
Hello there guys, and welcome back to once again another live stream or race or whatever you want to call it here on the Delta T Racing YouTube channel. My name is Phoebe Thomas. I'm going to be the first time commentator. I mean, obviously not the first time that anyone has commentated on these races, but I'm going to be here for the first time. So always very nice to meet new drivers, new league owners, and new leagues in general. I'm going to be your commentator on Wednesdays from now on, so hopefully you guys are not going to get too bored from me too soon. And let's hope we can make this an amazing race. It's going to be around Mexico, a short qualifying with a 50% race afterwards, which means we're going to be having 18 minutes of qualifying, then a 50% race, which is in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. Let me do the calculations real quick. It might be around the 30 mark lap, so that's what we're looking at here in this race. Now, Mexico, not an easy track. Usually we do tend to see a lot of track limits around the Autodromo Hermano Hernandez or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Especially here in Sector 2, you've got a lot of S's coming into turn 7 or 8, that might be here. And we're currently on board with Joey. Yes, he's coming through those fast right and left-handers, and there's no wall on the outside. Now, here's the thing. You've got tracks like Singapore, which also have quite a few S's, but you're least likely to invalidate your lap or get track limits there, as there's walls around the outside, so you're going to be a little less risky around Singapore. Unlike here in Mexico, you can easily shoot through, just get a warning real quick, and then move on. Yes, here comes Joey around the last corner, and let's go on board with the Mercedes driver right now, and let's see how he's going to perform here in his first qualifying lap around Mexico. DRS down the main straight, a very long main straight. You've got 2 or 3 DRS opportunities here. Actually, only 2, as after turn 3, you've got another DRS zone, but that is based on the previous DRS zone. So let's say you make an overtake down the straight, down the start-finish straight. You're again going to have the DRS here, even if you are ahead of the driver ahead of you. I mean, behind you at that case. So heading into turn 4, hard braking zone, a 90 degrees corner. And here we have got a very tricky corner. A lot of guys tried to make a move through there. I wouldn't suggest doing it because it's just going to give a lot of troubles. Also for the stewards and stuff, so please don't do that. Thank you very much, sir, as we're heading into turn 8, 9, 10, and 11, as that will be the S's, of course. So this is turn 10, 11, and then we've got turn 12 as well, which is part of the S's. Watch out for the curb on the exit there, so you can easily lose the car if your tires are overheated. Heading into turn 13, hard braking zone as well, but you can clip that curb on the entry and the exit very well. And then we're heading into the last part of the track. So that is a lap around Mexico. A beautiful racing track, a lot of overtaking opportunities, especially in Sector 1. Sector 3, also a couple. But you do have to watch out. Here comes Joey across the line to put a 115.1. The full time for now is a 114.9, so not bad at all by the guys already on track. So you might want to go on board with a buddy as he's coming down straight right now. In that Williams car, you do see a lot of drivers having teammates, and that is lovely to see. We've got 16 drivers in the lobby today. We've got a Williams team, I mean a complete Williams team. We've got a complete Kick Sauber team. Also, both the Mercedes drivers are here, the Red Bull drivers are here, and then we've got the Ferrari drivers as well. The drivers who are alone today are McLaren driver Hammer Sook. We've got a TGL Stewart, my apologies, and then we've got the V-Carb driver as well. Another driver should be alone as well. No, it's not Stewart alone. Doesn't matter that much. We've got 2 drivers for every team most of the times, but this time around that's not going to be the case, as Nexton comes across the line with 114.3. As you can see how easy you can lose the car there coming through the S's. That's just when your tires are a little bit heated up. They cannot take enough traction on track through those S's, and that's where you're going to lose the car. We do tend to see a lot of guys crash it into the wall there, so Betty is a little bit lucky there. Not necessarily going off track there, just breaking a couple of braking boards. So let's go on board with his very own teammate who invalidated the lap, but he's going to go on another one. That usually means that he's done another lap to warm up the tires. Now, I don't think that is very necessary here around Mexico, or he just made a little mistake as he seems to be weaving across the straight. Not too bad, just warming up the tires before heading into the turn 1, 2, and 3, where you do need your tires to be heated up, especially after such a long straight. The tires cool down a little bit, because you're not necessarily going through the corners. That's where your tires are heating up. So here another DRS straight, as it seems like Connor is not using a DRS there. Does that mean he's not on a fast one? That could be indeed the case. And he doesn't have too much ERS left in the tank, so that might be the reason. Barry is going to go for another one. DRS wide open, and this time you do see the Williams driver use a little bit of DRS compared to his teammates. So here comes Barry heading into sector 2, into turn 4, 5, and then of course 6 and 7. Very tricky corner. Almost an invalidation there from the Dutch driver as he came out of the well, should we call it the chicane? It's a very slow and very long chicane, so I don't think we can call that a chicane if I'm being honest, but turn 5, let's call it turn 5, as he's heading into the S's, and this time around he's not going to make that mistake that he made earlier. So another DRS opportunity, not too long of a DRS straight, so I don't think you can necessarily make an overtake through that straight. As we're heading into sector 3, fastest second sector for the Dutch driver. He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead, but that seems to be another driver, or will that not be another driver? No, he goes into the pits as Barry comes across the line with a 21-second improvement, but only puts himself in P10 right now with a 116.4. All the other guys who haven't set up lap yet are currently in the pits. Now, this league has something very interesting, which I have never heard of before. It's a yoker, or a joker, or whatever it's called in English. It's basically whenever... wait, let me just get the text and read it one more time, so I'm sure that I have it correct. Basically, you play a joker, max of 4 drivers in one race, and start at the back of the grid, 1 lap, and retire in quali. Then, if you get into the top 10, you will get double points. So 50 points for the win, 2 points for 10 place, for example. Also, you can get 2 points for the fastest lap. So, for example, the max amount of points you can get is 52. That is a very interesting thing as well, which I've never seen before. So hopefully it will play out very well, as we've got Maggot already retiring from the session. And we do tend to see, I mean, there's 5 drivers who haven't set a lap yet. So most likely 4 of them will be playing their joker today here around Mexico. As it's a very good track, in my opinion. It's a very good track to have a comeback race on. Usually a lot of safety cars, usually a lot of crashes and penalties as well. So if you can just keep it within the track, you should be good for a top 10 position, especially with 17 people in the lobby, unlike 20 people, which is going to be 4 more, obviously. 3 more. My maths aren't matting today. All right, here comes Zetterval as he comes down the straight in that beautiful Ferrari car. He's going to be the second Ferrari car, as somebody joined as well. I am trying to think who that is. Benny Buno, obviously, as he joined through qualifying. He couldn't be there on time, so he's going to have a little less time to put a good qualifying lap on the board for that McLaren team. And then, of course, Hammersuk, he is going to be very happy with his teammate being in his car today. The V-Carb driver going to the side, that is Mr. Highcane. He's already set a pretty decent lap there, 115.0, but pole position currently for the Red Bull driver Nexton with a 114.3, and this is a big gap compared to his very own teammate, who is in P2. So all the other drivers that are not in that Red Bull team are a little bit slower compared to both the Red Bull teams, actually. I mean, drivers. A 114.3, a 114.4, as I think Daniel just came across the line to put a better lap on the board. It's a good lap there from Daniel, as Zetterval almost invalidates, coming around the last corner. And here comes the Ferrari driver, comes across the line to put a 115.0, putting himself in P4 for now. Pushing Highcane 1 position down, and I think Joey did exactly the same before Zetterval came across the line. Connor seems to be on a fast lap as well. Not up in his time though, 1 second slower. So he's going to have to go to the side as another Red Bull driver is on the lap, and that is Nexton. And let's see, heading into Sector 3, whether the Nexton is up on his time. Seems to have a good exit coming out of the S's. And he's not up in his time, but maybe Sector 3 was his worst sector, as he seems to be sliding all over the place. Watch out. Almost spun into the wall. Well, not necessarily. It didn't go off track, but you know what I mean. If you lost a car there, you could have easily spun into the wall. But he was having a good lap, trying to push the limits out of the car. Coming back into the pits, he still has about 7 minutes left to put a good lap on the board. The guys do only have 3 set of soft tires. Now, I don't think 2 sets of softs, I mean, at least in the race, because you bring over that extra set to the race. I don't think that's necessary for the race, because apparently, according to Mr. Buddy, we are having a 60% chance of rain, so I'm just going to double check here. Very likely to have rain near the end of the race, 60% chance, so that is a high percentage. Now, here's the thing, which most of you guys probably don't know, but I know that, as somebody explained it to me once. So when somebody says this percentage of rain, it doesn't mean that there's a 60% chance of rain, but 60% of, for example, if you put Mexico City, 60% of Mexico City will have rain. So there's not a chance that your place will have rain. Like, there's always going to be rain, but not necessarily at your place, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. But if you then look at, for example, Mexico City, 60% rain, it's going to be 60% of Mexico City, not that there's 60% chance of the whole Mexico City to have rain. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a funny fact for you guys to be able to tell to whatever, your grandparents, I don't know, even your parents maybe. Your mother-in-law, she will be very impressed with that. Here comes Brandon across the finish line in a second, as he first needs to tackle this. No, never mind, not coming into the pits. Well, he is coming into the pits. He's not coming across the line. Skipper into the last sector, and he's up on his time by 4/10. So let's see what the Haas driver can do here in this final corner. Turn, whatever you want to call it. Here he comes with a 6/10 improvement, putting himself in P11 right in front of both the Williams drivers. Then we've got Benny Buno, who hasn't set a time yet, as I think he will come back into the pits. Will he be the 4th driver without a qualifying lap? No, he's going for one. Look at that. Benny Buno is not our 4th joker for tonight. And then I'm afraid we're only having three jokers for tonight, and that is very unlikely. I mean, I don't know if it's unlikely or not. This is the first time I'm doing a commentary here, but I would assume a lot of guys would have wanted to put the Joker in Mexico. As I said before, it's a good track to have a Joker on. I would definitely put a Joker on Mexico. Maybe even more around, let me just double check. Singapore is also a very good one. Doesn't matter that much. Here comes Benny Buno heading into Sector 2. Obviously not up in his time because he hasn't set a time yet. Coming out of turn 5, a lot of guys seems to be struggling going onto that curb. They just seem to be losing the car every now and then. Now through the S's, this is the first time Benny Buno is going to have to do that in a qualifying here in Delta T Racing Season 11. As I didn't mention that before, we're currently in round 2 of Season 11 here around Mexico, as that is going to be in Mexico City. One of the most expensive races around the F1 calendar to watch a race in, and that is very interesting because I mean, obviously you're going to compare the prices from a Monza Grand Prix to a Mexico Grand Prix, and also their wages. And you would say, yeah, of course Monza is going to be way more expensive. Apparently a ticket for Mexico Grand Prix is about 500 euros. So I mean, pounds, euros, it's a bit the same. As Benny Buno comes into the pits, and he's not going to be putting a lap on the board. I think he just wanted one extra round, one extra lap of practice before he puts in his Joker. Here comes Hammersuk down the straight. Lost a bit of time in Sector 2. That is not great, but maybe he can make up for that here in Sector 3 right now. Coming around the penultimate corner. Takes a bit of curb there, cutting the corner. Oh, and he loses the car. Went onto the curb too aggressively, as he got to come back into the pits because he lost a bit of time with that. Not sure if there's enough time to come into the pits, put on some new tires, and go out again. As we might want to go on board here with the Ferrari driver, Romero. Is he also going to be struggling going onto the curb? Doesn't seem like it. This time around, he's going to keep it on track, but he comes back into the pits, so not a good lap from Romero either. Stewart seems to be up on his time, or was that his previous time? I didn't see him bump up any positions. As Kane comes very close there with the top 2 right now, only 1.5 tenths away from Nexton and about a couple of thousandths away from Daniel. Only 5 thousandths to be exact, so that's a very close time there from the V-Carb and the Red Bull driver. Barry is on a lap as well, Connor is on a lap as well, so we might want to go on board with those guys. As the Alpine driver is not up in his time, Barry up in his time once again. Although that was 21 seconds. I don't think he will be up 21 seconds on his 1:16.4, because that means he would have under a minute of a lap here in Mexico City. Not possible at all, or he should have some rockets in right behind his car. Now he is up in his time with about 3 seconds coming into sector 2. Let's see if he's struggling going onto the curb this time around. Doesn't seem like it. And that battery on top of his car seems to be giving him a lot of speed here through sector 1, or possibly through sector 2 as well. Although you don't want to be using any battery coming through the S's. Seems to be a pretty good lap there from Barry. Doesn't seem to be making any big mistakes. 6 tenths of an improvement. That will put him around P5, P6. Let's see how many more tenths he can improve here in sector 3. As I don't think sector 3 is the sector where you do need to gain a lot of time. It will most likely happen in sector 1 and sector 2. As he puts himself in P11, he lost a bit of time there. Oh no, never mind. They put a 114. I forgot Barry had put a 116. I thought it was a 115, so a 1 second improvement would put him on somewhere around pole. So my apologies, Barry, if you're listening. Sorry, buddy. Relia just came across the line to put a good lap on the board. The fastest third sector will definitely do good there. And only 9 thousandths away from Joey as well. So a very close qualifying here from most of the guys in DTR. Skipper, is he up on his time as well? Seems like he did improve on his time last lap. Yes, we might want to go on board with both the Ferrari guys. We haven't put them in the spotlights yet. No, we actually have at the beginning, and then Romero at the rear of, at the end of the live stream. Brandon is someone we haven't looked at yet. The Mercedes driver up in his time heading into sector 2, about a tenth, or 1 thousandths off 1 tenth. So he's got that Kick Sauber driver right behind him. That is Rilliot. Although I don't think Rilliot is up in his time, or is he up in his time? He seems to be pushing though. I think he might be. As Nexton comes across the line with a 114.2, that will be a very hard time to beat. Hammersuk already retired from the session as he or she actually crashed coming into the S's. So that is not a good sign. That is most likely going to give issues during the race, as Brandon comes across the line with an improvement of about 2.5 tenths, putting himself right in front of his teammate Joey. Now let's see what the top 3 can do. Kane not up in his time, neither is Daniel. 1.3 seconds down, as I think pole position will go to Nexton. Let's put our eyes closer on Kane. He didn't validate, so that won't be an improvement either. Maybe Zetterval or Romero. Zetterval coming across the finish line as we speak. It will be a 114.6, a good improvement, putting himself in P6 right now, but won't be good enough to enter the top 5. Romero coming back into the pits, as that will be qualifying over, except for Connor, who is just entered sector 2. Quite interesting to see that he is the last one on track. Especially that far behind everyone else. He's up on his time by about 1 second and 1 tenth. Let's see how many more tenths he can pull off here in sector 3. 1 second and a tenth would place him around. Yeah, he would just improve 1 position on Skipper. Now let's see what Connor can do. Coming across the line right now. 1.7 tenths of an improvement, putting himself right ahead of Romero, entering the top 10 and even P9. So great lap there from Connor, but pole position goes to Nexton. P2 goes to his very own teammate Daniel, and then P3 goes to Kane, if I'm not mistaken, that was the name. So beautiful qualifying here already, not many crazy incidents, as both the Hungarian drivers putting themselves in P1 and P2, with your Kane and Brandon in P3 and P4, and Joey finishing off the top 5. Third, we've got Zetterval, Rilliot, Stewart, Connor, Romero, Hammersuk, Buddy, Skipper. I'm still gonna have to think about what I'm gonna call this guy. Gunnar, Megan, and then Benny Buno. We have got 4 jokers for tonight. Those are gonna be the Haas driver, Gunnar, Megan, and Benny Buno. Now, here's the thing. All right, how am I gonna call this guy? I'm gonna call him Kenji. Fuck it. Look at that, Kenji. That's gonna be his new nickname from now on. I can't pronounce all of these letters, guys. It's too much. It takes too much time, you know. All right, so we are first gonna put the right strategy on. The right tires, the right strategy, the right setup as well. Because I'm unsure whether this is gonna be. Let me just double check for you guys. Simulation. No, that's not the one. Assist might be the one. I just need to know whether it's Park Ferme or not. Might be in here. It's not in here. Is it going to be in here? Wait, is this going to be a 100% race? No, right? No, it might be. No, 50%. Okay, never mind. All right. Did we see it on here? Doesn't seem like it. Where can I see that? Not here either. Rules and flags. That's the one. Park Ferme is on. So does that mean... Oh, they cannot change setups. That is very interesting. And that's something we have to think about as well. Were the guys using some wet tire setups during the race, making them go a little bit slower and then faster during the rain at the end of the race? We don't know. It's a 60% chance of rain, so the guys have just started their formation lap. They're going to warm up their tires. Let me have a quick look what the strategies are tire-wise, as no idea what I'm doing. Here we go. The top 13 on medium tires. And we've got Kenji, Gunnar, and Maggot on the hard tires at the back of the grid. And Benny Buno on the medium tires. I would say not surprising. The medium tires are quite powerful at the beginning of the race, although you have to watch out for the overheating. That's why I also think nobody chose to go into the soft tires. They die off really quickly. They are really bad. They are sliding all over the place in Sector 2. I wouldn't do it. Not even maybe in the last couple of laps. Depends on how many more laps there are and how long you're going to be behind the safety car, all that kind of stuff. But medium tire is definitely a good choice. But I think the guys on the hard tires will gain the most positions at the beginning of the race. They will be bad in the first lap, but as soon as there's going to be more laps driven, those are going to be way better and faster, and they're going to be making mistakes a little less than the other guys on the medium tires. So that's my opinion there on the hard tires. I quite like them. They are a little bit slidey at the beginning of the race, but as we said, they get better gradually. So here we go, everyone putting themselves on the grid right now, both the Red Bull drivers warming up the tires, and it seems like Haikane is that kind of driver who leaves a bit of space to the guys ahead of him just so their tires are a little bit colder. Look at that, how powerful that looks like. Looks like 2023 Red Bull starting grid. Absolutely amazing. And that would be Liam Lawson in P3 in that case. Haikane is going to be Liam Lawson in this particular situation. Everyone on the line right now as we've got Season 11, Round 2 of Division 1 here in Delta Teen Racing. Guys, make sure to grab some popcorn. Make sure to grab a Coke or whatever you like to drink. Doesn't matter that much. Maybe a beer, as we're going to be racing Round 2 here around Mexico. It's 5 red lights, and away we go. And a very bad start there from Brandon already as he drops back to P7. A really good start there from the V-Carb drivers. Seem to be alongside Daniel. Is he going to go for a move? Also, Joey down the inside. Is he going to shove it down the inside? Oh, and here comes the Ferrari driver. He crashes out. Everyone, what is happening here? Zetterval, or was that Romero? I couldn't tell for sure, but that's of course going to be a virtual safety car. Maggot with a 10-second time penalty after a severe collision with Connor. And not sure what happened there in turn 1. The Ferrari driver just said torpedo into turn 1. And that's going to be a lot of guys affected by that. Really, it gained 4 positions. Benny Buno, as I said, on the hard tires, gaining 11 positions all the way up into P6 already. Brandon and Zetterval had an unlucky start there. as they're going to be dropping 12 and 11 positions. Apart from that, we've got Skipper and Gunnar gaining 4 and 5. Also, Mag had a really good start there, although he has that 10-second time penalty, which is going to make him drop a lot of positions. And I'm unsure what the rules are on removing penalties, and especially penalties that have been served already. So we're going to have to look at that after the race. You guys probably know about that more than I do. As I think virtual safety car will come into the pits pretty soon. And there we go, virtual safety car coming back into the pits. We've got green flags and go, go, go for many of the guys here on track. The Red Bull team has taken their distance already, although Aurelia trying to stay within that 1 second for the DRS purposes, of course. Now he seems to be dropping already. That means he has a little bit less straight line speed compared to the Red Bull drivers, and they also have a tow of each other. So let's see who's the fastest in the rain as Stewart tries to go down the inside of the McLaren driver. Now around the outside, backs out of it. And now maybe Haikane can make up a position here. Down the straight he goes. No DRS opportunities yet for the guys. He might want to use a little ERS to stay ahead of Stewart. I think Stewart is going to back out of it. No, they're going side by side coming into turn 4. And this is what I'm talking about. Coming into turn 5, these guys keep it clean, which is lovely to see as Haikane takes the inside line and keeps P6. Let's go on board here with the guys in the middle of the pack. Gunnar trying to stick with the toe of Skipper. And as I said, both the guys having a really decent race already. You're definitely going to be battling for a top 5 possibly, as Haikane is already trying to make an overtake. Down the inside he goes, beautiful overtake. Maybe a switchback from Benny Buno, although he backs out of it. Stewart now down the inside. Is he going to make a move forward? Doesn't look like it. Benny Buno with a beautiful defense there, while even trying to make an overtake on Haikane. Not one of the easiest things the guys can do here around Mexico. Nexton with the fastest lap so far. Haikane a little bit weaving all over the place, trying to break the slipstream. But Benny Buno obviously not from yesterday. Oh, the guys here in the middle of the field seems to be sliding all over the place. And now it's going to be side by side, Skipper and Gunnar. Gunnar is not giving up though, but he has to unfortunately clip the curb there a little bit. Might have lost a bit of time. The guys here have the DRS. That's going to be Skipper, obviously, also Gunnar. And Stewart drops back to P7. And no gain opportunity for the Alpine driver heading into Sector 2. So you might want to go on board with the top guys as well. Although that's going to be just both the Red Bull drivers who are going to be switching positions every now and then. I don't even think they're going to be switching positions. I think they're just going to stick with each other, and that's about it. Now here comes Stewart heading into the SS. It doesn't look like he can make... Oh, and that's going to be his first or even second track warning. I mean track limit warning, as he came off track there coming out of turn 12. Now we will be seeing a lot of position changes here down the straight. The V-car driver doesn't have a DRS. Oh, he's already coming into the pits. What happened there? Haikane, does he have a broken front wing? I would assume so. He was really fast though with a broken front wing. Now everyone has got the DRS, I'm afraid. Benny Buno and his very own teammate as well. Will he make up a position? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I mean, Hammer has those mediums though. No, those are hards, aren't they? Let me just double check for you guys. Both of the guys are running mediums apparently. I thought Benny Buno was running the hards. Apparently not. That is a big mistake. Here comes Benny Buno around his very own teammate. And Hammer Suk is trying to hold up Stewart as well. But Stewart said, I'm not going to let you run away, Benny Buno. I'm going to get past your teammate first, and then I'll get you. Now let's see if that's actually going to be the case here for the Alpine driver. Coming into the SS, seems to be struggling to keep the toe off Benny Buno. Especially with that McLaren car right up his ass. Let's see what Hammer Suk can do. Cutting the corners a little bit. Not another track warning limit there for Stewart. Hammer down the inside, backs out of it, braking a little later, and this is most likely going to be a collision. As Hammer Suk trying to keep that position, just sliding all over the place. And now he's down the inside of the Ferrari driver. Has to back out though, Romero with too much pace. A lot of guys getting penalties so far. Let me just double check with the penalties. Buddy, sorry, or is it Barry? I don't know. Buddy, Betty. Let me know in DMs if you have time. So he's got a 10-second time penalty. Gunnar, who seems to be overtaking Stewart this time around. Stewart maybe with a switchback there. Broke a little later. Yes, they're going side by side coming through turn 3. Who's going to come out ahead? Seems to be Gunnar. Up into P5 as both the Kick Sauber drivers are having an amazing race so far. The guys there switching positions. Doesn't look like it. A little bit of dancing between Romero and Hammersuk. Yeah, this is going to be an opportunity for Stewart coming out of the SS. He's really close now. The most important thing coming through the SS is not being that close behind the driver ahead of you. Mainly because you're gonna have dirty air, and that's what you don't want during the SS, because your car is gonna have understeer. You're either gonna crash out because you don't have any control over your car, or you're gonna get a track warning, obviously. And all the other guys are not making an overtake. Here comes Hammersuk, and is he gonna back out of it? No, he's right outside. And he backs out of it. Maybe a switchback. No, didn't have a great exit coming out of the coming out of the penultimate corner. Oh, and he goes into the wall. Loses a front wing, and this is most likely going to be a safety car. Watch out, guys. Oh, Hammersuk almost crashing out the Haas driver. He's got to come into the pits, doesn't he? Yes, sir. Switching that front wing is most likely the best thing you can do. Yeah, Nel, here's the problem. He's from the Netherlands, and I know that Barry, like you guys say Barry in English, they say it sometimes as buddy, so it's a little bit different in the Netherlands. It's the same here in Belgium. They do use it more in the Netherlands, though. So I'm just gonna ask him. Oh man, Nel, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm probably not gonna be able to pronounce that, so I'm just gonna call him Kenji if that's all right with him. I don't know if he's listening. Kenji or Kerzingal, if you're listening, please let me know. Now down the straight they go. DRS opportunity for everyone, but no overtaking opportunity. Maybe Romero. No, he backs out of it. Both the Red Bulls again close to each other, but that is... I mean, they're just going to work together, trying to get back. I mean, having a big lead, obviously. Reliadu also has a 10-second time penalty, which is not great. And somebody crashed. That is Barry, or the buddy, into the wall. He's going to wait for everyone to get past, and he's going to have to wait a long time because get the McLaren car. Wait, let me just double check here. Oh, he's in a very dangerous position there, down the inside. As Mecca dropped a lot of positions as well. Not sure what happened with the Alpine driver. Might have served this 10-second time penalty, and I think that is indeed going to be the case because I remember him having a 10-second time penalty. Daniel! Oh, I thought it was really at 4 tenths behind Daniel. Never mind. Let me just double check here on the back of the grid. Hammersuk coming into the pits. Once again, another mistake from the McLaren driver, most likely. As Brandon now got back into the slipstream of Heiken, and also within that DRS, so he's going to have a DRS opportunity here coming down the straight. Let's see if you had the DRS coming down the straight before. Doesn't seem like it because he's not opening the wings. But he did already recover quite a bit of time, so let's see if Heiken, Brandon, and Setterfall can have a little beautiful battle there between those three drivers. Now let's go back to the midfield as there's another battle going on here between Gunnar, Stewart, Skipper, and Romero. Haas both in the points, so is Kick Sauber, so is Red Bull. Hammersuk with an unlucky crash is not going to be scoring any points for McLaren. We've got both the Williams drivers upping out of the top 10, and then we've got one driver from Mercedes in the top 10. So those are going to be the teams that are going to be scoring a decent amount of points. And somebody crashed because we've got a safety car. And let me just double check on track. It might have been a Williams. Let me just double check with a buddy here. And I think it might indeed be a Barry who has a broken front wing. Unsure whether he came into the pits earlier to replace his front wing, which he had earlier, or does he have rear wing damage, making himself, or his name's Jack. Yeah, that might be better. Jack might be better indeed. I mean, the problem is that I'm not gonna remember those names. I mean, I'm probably gonna remember those names, but it's different than the ones I read on screen. So Kenji is the thing that looks the closest to the EA name, if that makes sense. But I'll ask him. I'll shoot him a quick DM asking him if it's if it's annoying calling him Kenji. 'cause it needs to be fast, it needs to be good, it needs to be rememberable, and like whatever kerosene gall is not gonna be easy to remember. And I'm really wondering who's gonna come into the pits. I would assume a couple of guys will. Daniel staying out. No, that's the Haas driver. Skipper staying out. Oh, Stewart gets a 10-second time penalty after a collision with Gunnar. And those are the most annoying things. Like, if you don't even know whether the guy ahead of you is going to brake earlier. So you got to anticipate on certain things. And that's what Stewart didn't do very well there. Getting a 10-second time penalty for going into the back of Gunnar. Although I think Gunnar is behind him. Wait, is that really it? Wait, hold up. Oh, Gunnar might have made a little... Oh, he served his... Wait, I'm confused. Did he serve his 10-second time penalty? Might have been that. Yeah, that might have been that. Let us have a look at the tires here. A couple of guys didn't come into the pits. Those are about 4 or 5. We've got Skipper in the lead of the race right now with 8 lap old medium tires. Apart from that, we've got Heikane in P8 with 5 lap old hards. And then we've got Brandon with 7 lap old hards. And Zetterval with a 7 lap old hards. Now I'm really thinking and wondering whether this is the right strategy for the guys on the hard tires. Most likely, because you're going to be having a lot of tire life still in those hard tires. And now, if you come into the pits to go onto the medium tires, you might be going onto another set of medium tires at the end of the race and finish the race on those. Stewart do not gets a 3-second time penalty. And here's the thing that I don't get. The guys are getting penalties during a safety car. Or at least track warnings. That shouldn't be happening. And I know it's a very common mistake. I know I'm Mr. Commentary. I know I make it seem easier than it actually is. But you're going at about 60% of the usual speed. You are not pushing at all. You're not trying to get somewhere. You're not trying to, get track limits. Neither are you in the race. But those are very unlucky things. Now, during a safety car lap, I don't get it at all. Now, Stewart, I'm not going to blame you, buddy. I have done it before. It's just, I don't know. It's just pushing. But you don't even have to push, if you know what I mean. It's the spirit of a Formula 1 driver. And I know many of you guys in chat have experienced this before, getting a penalty under a safety car. It's one of the most painful things ever, together with a 10-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. And it used to be 5 as well. It used to be 5, and then they switched it back to 10 seconds. And I was like, oh, damn, that's a big penalty. And I'm surprised to see that still that many people get 10-second time penalties for speeding in the pit lane. I do about 3 or 4 races a week of commentary. And I've never seen that many speeding in the pit lanes than the last couple of weeks. I've been doing commentary since 2022. Like, it didn't used to be like that back then. And right now, everyone is just getting a penalty. Like, at least one driver, like every driver at least gets one penalty of speeding in the pit lane throughout a season. It's crazy. Now, everyone is still behind the safety car. We've got about 2 or 3 drivers who are a little bit behind. That's Betty, Hammer, and Maggot. Now, a very unlucky race there for Maggot. I think that 10-second time penalty definitely did him dirty. Hammersook in P16 as well. Not a great race either. He crashed out 2 times, so that's going to make him be all the way at the back of the grid. Same for Barry there. A little unlucky race he's having right now. But apart from that, we are seeing a great race. Not many crashes, not many incidents. Every now and then we see a little tap or a little bump there from a couple of guys, but I don't think it's that severe, if I'm being honest. Skipper with a 10-lap old medium tires is going to be struggling, though. I think usually the strategy is coming into the pits around lap 15, 16, and then go onto the hard tires. That's when those medium tires are wearing out and when the hard tires are getting faster. It's actually already a little bit earlier. It's just that's the optimal strategy, if you get what I mean. Just making sure you get the last spirit out of those medium tires. Now another lap behind the safety car. And here's the thing that I find frustrating. The guys can come into the pits as many times as they want, as long as they're far behind. I think the safety car is not coming into the pits only if it does like 4 or 5 laps. which is usually very unlikely. So and how is everyone doing in the chat today? Hope you're having a fine evening. Not sure. I mean, obviously, if you're from the UK or Europe, you're having a fine evening, or at least some evening. Could be a bad as well. But if you're from the United States, it's about 2 o'clock maybe in the afternoon. So good afternoon to you if you're from the United States. If you're from Asia or Australia, good morning or good night to you as well. Hopefully your day was splendid, and good luck in the next day as well. Now the safety car is coming into the pits. We will be racing again, as I'm going to take a quick sip of water and then we are ready to go again. Oh yeah, the guys are going already, coming around the last corner. Seems like... Oh no, Skipper is going to wait again. And they have to brake, and they have to brake, and when is he going to go? It seems like he's going right now. That was a very strange start there. It looked like he was already coming out of the penultimate corner. Now Nixon is going to go for it already. Down the inside he goes. Backs out of it again. Doesn't have his car alongside. Oh, and the Alpine and the McLaren driver collide, as that's going to be Benny and Stewart. And will that be another safety car? Yes, indeed it will be. And as I said, there weren't too many incidents. We had one right there, right now. And that is another commentator's curse. You guys might... experience those quite often from my side, as I'm an expert in commentators' curses. Every race I have a commentator's curse. It's awful. It's an awful feeling, because I feel like I'm doing this to the guys. I'm just gonna double check with Discord here to see if any of the guys are putting any messages in the chat, because those are usually very spicy in a lot of leagues. Like whenever somebody crashes and you know you're having a DNF. We don't have a DNF this time around, but obviously this is a great community. If you're looking to race here, make sure to join the Discord link. That's probably in the YouTube channel somewhere. If not, I'm gonna add it myself into this video. But yeah, these guys are great, these guys are lovely, and hopefully we're going to have many races to come here around DTR. Now I'm really wondering what the guys should be doing strategy-wise. I think Skipper should have come into the pits last safety car. If not, he should have come into the pits this safety car. But he didn't do it, so I'm really wondering whether he's trying to go medium softs here. Barry all the way at the back of the grid, going onto the soft tires as well. As I said, I wouldn't suggest going onto the soft tires, especially when you're already struggling on the medium tires. I wouldn't go onto the soft tires at all. But Barry decides not to. He just says, fuck it, I'm gonna go in it. I want that fast lap. He's not gonna be scoring any double points today, as he's not one of the jokers. So I'm just going to have to figure out who the jokers are and how many points they're actually going to score. Position changes, let me just double check here. Maggot being one of them, Benny Buno being one of them. Also Skipper, was he no, maybe? Oh, that is a good one. 1, 2, 3, 4, no, he was not one. Kenji was one. Gunnar was one as well. So those guys are going to be our jokers tonight, and they're going to be scoring double points because they have entered the top 10. So Gunnar is going to be scoring 2, Kenji is going to be scoring 4, and apart from that, who else is our... Oh, Benji, yeah. Oh yeah, Maggot, of course. Yeah, we only have 4. So Gunnar, Kenji, Maggot, and then of course Benny Buno. It was looking like Benny Buno was going to be scoring some decent amount of points. But he dropped back many positions after a collision with Stewart. I'm unsure who was in the mistake there. That will be for the stewards, obviously, as these guys already have stewards. So if you're looking at clean, good racing where penalties are given to the worst drivers, or at least the dirtiest drivers, make sure to join this league if you haven't already. And I'm not even sure whether these guys are... I mean, the guys watching are in this league already. Usually they are, but if you're not... go ahead and join the link in the description. Skipper. I'm really wondering what the thought process is here. I mean, 12 positions gained just by not coming into the pits. Wouldn't it have been better if maybe he's trying to hold everyone up just so Kenji can gain a lot of positions? I don't know. I don't know these guys. I don't know how they work. I don't know if the team was to work together. Unsure. But I'm sure I'm gonna be able to tell you that later in the season. This is going to be Rand 2 or Rand Season 11. A lot of seasons already here in DTR. And they've also got their very own website. It's on the left bottom of the screen. So make sure to check those out if you haven't already. Now, I think I made a little mistake here. And I'm going to change that real quick so you guys are hearing me a little bit better. And I don't have to talk that loud anymore, luckily. So the safety car is coming back into the pits most likely. Depends on weather. Yes, indeed. So Barry caught up. He's going to be back behind Stewart. And we're going to be racing against position changes. Is most likely the thing we want to see, as Skipper is going to be leading the pack to victory with about 22 laps to go here around the Mexican Grand Prix. Still plenty of racing. I'm really wondering when Skipper is going to go. Is he going to go already? Seems like he is. Has to wait before that safety car comes into the pits. He should go a little bit slower coming through sector 3, because now he has to wait till the very late minute to go on the throttle. Now here he goes, and next is again right up that tail of the Haas driver. Is he going to go for a move this time around? Let's see. He's not using any ERS, as it doesn't seem like a move from the Red Bull driver. Maybe his very own teammate is going to make a move. Maybe Ramiro now down the inside, backs out of it again. And there will need to be no crazy overtakes here coming through turn 1. Oh, maybe a move here from Maggot and Benny Bruno. Oh, a little tap there from the Alpine driver. That's most likely going to be a redemption from Maggot, who is Stewart's teammate, of course. Skipper, who just got overtaken by Nixon. We kind of missed that coming into turn 4. This is always a little bit chaos in the first couple of corners. Like, you don't know who's going to make a move on anyone. You just got to base it off the intervals. Now let's have a quick look here with Daniel, as he's within 2/10s, heading into the S's as well. So this is going to be an overtake opportunity. Into the slipstream he goes. Around the outside right now, heading into turn 13, brakes a little later. Oh, and the Haas driver clips the curb, goes into the back of Daniel, and loses a lot of position. Skipper still in P4 though, kept his car on track, as there's other drivers losing many more positions. That's going to be Romero, who was very unlucky there with that Haas driver ahead of him. Now here comes Kenji, getting overtaken by Gunnar. Down the straight they go, 3 wide down the straight. Make sure you don't clinch wheels, because that will not end up well. Zetterval. Don't know who's going to go. Oh, it's so many overtakes into turn 1. And it's going to be Gunnar ahead of Romero. And then, of course, Romero ahead of Kenji. Oh, the Williams driver clipping the curb there. Also clipping the rear of Kenji and Benny Bruno. Let's see what Joey does here. Making an overtake? No, he's getting overtaken. Already a big gap between Nexon and Daniel. I think that's Daniel's purpose at this point during the race, trying to create a gap between himself and his teammate and keeping all the other guys behind him. Because this is how they're going to be getting the race win. This is how they're going to keep it interesting for the Red Bull team. As I'm just going to take a quick look later at the Drivers' Championship as well, as that's a very important one to look at. And let's have a look with Brandon. Is he going to go down the inside? No, backs out of it. And there's a little gap forming between Romero and Gunnar and Zetterval as well. Let's see what Brandon will do, because he will have the DRS right now. Down the straight he goes. ERS and DRS wide open. No, he's not going to be using any ERS. He can just do it off the DRS, and down the inside he goes. Overtake done. Also Daniel getting overtaken by Rilliot, and that is very interesting. This time around, Daniel cannot make it difficult for the King. Oh, and he loses the car. Goes too fast onto the curb, onto the throttle. Or did he just lose the car with an imbalance of the strategy or the setup? Stewart in the battle with Kenji here. Let's see what Connor is going to do. Down the inside, 3 wide. Will that be Joey? He's going to go for a move on Kenji as well. Seems like Kenji is trailing out here. Joey Yeah, he's a little bit impatient. Trying to get past that Williams driver as well. Didn't quite make anything out of it. Let's see with High-Cane here. I've got a little message on my TV. Not sure why. I'm going to remove that real quick. Oh, it's gone by itself. High-Cane on the tail of the Mercedes driver. Connor now with a 3-second time penalty as well. As the guys here at the front of the pack are currently entering a sector 1 again. Down the straight they go. As it's a 4-way battle for a P3. So Daniel kind of lost the toe of Elliott there. Now let me have a quick look on the tires. 9 laps for the top 3. As I'm not quite getting why Daniel is a little bit slower than the rest of the guys right now. Zetterval is going to go down the inside, backside of it again. Broke a little earlier. We don't want a turn 1 strategy. A turn 1 incident like we saw in lap 1. Now here they go, heading into the long straight again. DRS wide open from plenty of the guys, as that will be Stewart. No, Romero on the tail of Gunnar. And nobody else will make an overtake. Maybe here at the back of the grid. No, it's not going to happen. So I'm afraid we're going to have to wait a little more there. Brandon keeping up with Daniel, as I think Daniel is pushing the throttle right now. As he's gaining a bit of time through the S's and also through sector 1. So we're going to be seeing a good lap here from Daniel. Most likely a fast lap as well, as he's really pushing, trying to get back to Elliott. Hammerstuck with a 3-second time penalty as well. Elliott is also getting closer to Nexton right now. 2.2 seconds. He's not really losing a lot of time. So that is always lovely to see. Daniel is not going to get the fastest lap on the board. Let me see what the fastest lap is so far. A 1:17.2 by Elliott. So that was most likely last lap on those fresher hard tires. Zetterval making the overtake on the V-Carb driver down the straight. Beautifully done. You might want to go on board with Megan here down the straight as well, as he's going to be right in front of Benny Bruno. Joey Hayward. Yeah, it seems like a struggling race right now for the Mercedes driver. Cannot get past anyone anymore. It seems like Benny Bruno and Connor are having a heated battle. Connor maybe with a switchback. Look at that. He's alongside the McLaren driver, but backside of it again. Didn't really quite have the exit he hoped for. Let me just double check with the penalties here. 3 seconds for Zetterval, 3 seconds for Stewart, 6 seconds for Connor. Big penalty there for the Williams driver. Hammerstuck with 3 seconds, and then Skipper with 3 seconds as well. Connor most likely with an opportunity here. Also Joey cannot wait to make that overtake, so that's going to be Connor back into P13. Although around the outside goes the Williams driver, and doesn't have the exit or the entry he hoped for, as that will be Mercedes driver Joey Hayward back into the top 12. Oh, was that somebody coming into the pits? No, it was not. Zetterval right now is still within that 1 second of Brandon, but it seems to be struggling here for the Ferrari driver as well. And most of these guys are on, hard tires, medium tires. Gunnar on the 11-lap-old medium tires. That's going to be a tricky one at the end of the race. What tire will he even be going on? Stewart most likely an opportunity here. Around the outside he goes. DRS wide open, and that's another overtake done by Stewart. His next target will be Gunnar. And both drivers running the medium tires right now. So I think Stewart's mediums are really decent at the moment. They're not wearing off rapidly or really bad at the moment, but he's going to be struggling at the end of the race. We still have 16 more laps to go for. Yeah, maybe he's going to go on another set of medium tires. Is what I would have suggested with that first safety car. Now Zetterval, let's have a quick look with the Ferrari driver right now. Is he's going to be able to use the DRS down the straight. Brandon is not, so that is an important factor here for Zetterval, trying to get the best out of that one DRS opportunity. But at the same time, High-Cane has caught up quite well here within 1 second, so he will be able to use the DRS if I'm not mistaken. Zetterval, is he going to go down the inside? No, backside of it. But after turn 3, he's going to have a good opportunity if I'm not mistaken. Another DRS opportunity. Does he have plenty of DRS in the tank? It seems like he doesn't. 25% left in the tank. Is he going to go for it? No, doesn't have the straight line speed, which he needs there coming out of turn 3. Now, let us have a quick look with the position changes one more time. Reliot being one of the biggest winners so far, qualifying in P7, currently in P2. And then we've got Gunnar in P7 and Maggot in P8, both gaining 8 positions. So a great race from both of them as well. Benny Buno with 3 positions gained. Even starting in P17, he gained a lot of positions. We've got a crash in Sector 2. That is going to be the McLaren driver Hammersuk, as it doesn't seem to be the race of Hammersuk right now. Maggot getting past Gunnar coming out of the S's. That was quite early coming out of the S's that he already made that overtake. So maybe a little snap there from Gunnar. We see him sliding coming into the penultimate corner as well. Pit stop wise, we're looking at 2 pit stops from Maggot there. Zetterval now down the inside of Brandon, and this time around it does work out for the Swedish driver. Let's go on board with Romero, who's the other Swedish driver on track, making an overtake on Stewart. Oh, maybe Brandon with another opportunity on Zetterval. No, backs out of it. Maybe Daniel, who caught up to Reliot. He's going to make it difficult again. And if I'm being honest, I think Reliot made a mistake there, because look at that. I mean, that gap between Reliot and Nixon. I don't think that has grown to 2 more seconds in about 2 laps. So, yeah, maybe a little mistake there from Reliot, especially seeing that Daniel caught up that easy. And the air is wide open for Daniel right now. He's going to back out of it. So I'm just going to take a quick sip of water, and then we are ready to go down the main straight. Here they go, down the straight. The air is wide open for Daniel. Will he make an overtake? A lot of penalties right now for the guys coming around the last sector. Here comes Daniel, and buried DNFs in the pit lane. No, he DNFs in the wall. And that will be move done by Daniel quite on time there, as the safety car comes out on track. And another opportunity for the guys to switch tires. Now, what is the best strategy here? Who hasn't come into the pits yet? Zetterval, Brandon, Highkane, all of them didn't come into the pits yet, as we've got rain. So this is good. This is great for the guys who haven't come into the pits, and for the guys who came into the pits as well, as we will most likely be switching to intermediates. Now, it also depends on how fast the rain will be there and how long we're going to be behind the safety car. Because if we're going to be behind the safety car for about 2 or 3 laps, I think going on to the intermediates is the right choice. Stewart has gone on to the intermediate tires already. The Haas driver of, the Haas car of Skipper also has come into the pits onto the intermediates as well. And I'm really going to be surprised if if somebody doesn't come into the pits. Oh, the Red Bull driver doesn't come into the pits. Oh, both of them. Oh, no. Did they just make a horrible mistake there, Nexton and Daniel? I think they did. Depends on what their weather channel says, but from my weather channel, it looks like it's raining. Not enough to go onto the intermediates already, but yeah, everyone is coming into the pits. Look at that. Aurelius, Zetterval, Brandon, Highkane. Brandon and Highkane are going on to mediums. And it's already getting wet there. Oh. A lot of guys going on to the mediums. Joey as well. Oh, no. Maggot as well. Look at how it's raining already. This is a big mistake by the Red Bull boys. And if they're coming to the pits right now, they're even going to lose more positions. So, oh, this is annoying. For them, of course, I don't really care. I don't really care myself. 24 laps. That's about 12 more laps to go. We're past 66% of the race. I'm really wondering what is going to happen here with these two. They're going to drop many positions. So here's the thing. Everyone can go at the same pace until the guys get back to the safety car. So once somebody is behind the safety car, all the other guys can go as fast as they want. They don't have to follow a certain delta. They don't have to do anything else. They can just drive as fast as they want. You can see how close the Kick Sauber driver is already behind the Red Bull drivers. Let's see what Nexton and Daniel are going to do. They're going to stay out. This is a mistake. Or they're going to shut my mouth later when the safety car comes back into the pits and they're going to be gaining 15 seconds a lap. That would be insane. I don't think it's going to happen. Brandon, High Game. Let's see what they're going to say. Not coming into the pits either. Neither is High Game. Neither is Maggot. And neither is Joey. So we basically don't have any reference points on what tire is better. But I'm sure it's not going to be those 16 lap old hearts. Let us have a quick look with the Drivers' Championship as well, guys. If we have, I mean, we've got quite an interesting race one already. F1 standings, here they go. Results might be a little interesting. Let's do standings. So we have got Mr. J5 Gaming. That is not my division. Here we go. We've got Maggot, who won the Grand Prix last week. Then we had Brandon in P3. Now, I think he got double points because otherwise he wouldn't be in P2. Then we got Benny Buno in P3, who used his Joker today. He didn't use his Joker last week, so that is most likely why. Nexton is P4, and then we've got Reliant in P5. So a complete different view than what we're seeing here right now. Nexton in P1. We've got, Mr. Daniel only got a P13 last week, so he's got to be happy with that P2 today, if that's going to be his finishing position, of course. I can already see all the nationalities here. So we have got one guy from Gibraltar. That is lovely to see. One Lithuanian guy, 2 Hungarians, 2 Swedes, and we've got a Scottish guy, 2 Dutch people, two Dutch guys from the Netherlands, whatever you want to call it. An Irishman. Did I miss anyone? And a couple of English guys and a Greek guy, but he's not in the call in the lobby today, fortunately. Looking at the constructors, though, we have got Alpine in P1 with 31 points, Sauber in P2 with 28 points, and then we've got Mercedes in P3 with 23 points. So the biggest winner tonight is going to be Red Bull. They're most likely going to bump up all the way from P5 to P1 after an amazing result. I mean, we got to wait before saying anything. We got to wait to see their finishing positions. Then we've got McLaren. Yeah, they're not going to be scoring great points today. Mercedes is going to be scoring not 1 point, 10 points for the team. Sauber is going to be scoring great points. Alpine is going to do all right, especially with that double point thing from Maggot. They're going to be scoring about 8 points there instead of 4. What else do we have here? Ferrari doing great, so they might be gaining a position or 2. Haas not scoring any positions, and neither is Aston Martin. Aston Martin doesn't even have a driver tonight. So those are the guys I was looking for. A safety car coming into the pits as well, and we will be racing in about a second or 2. And this time around, Nexton will start the safety car restart. And let's see whether he is going to take a little more distance from the safety car. And it seems like he does. He knows he has to wait before he has to go. Now he's going to go. Oh, his very own teammate almost went into the back of him. That wasn't good communication between Nexton and Daniel. They're going already, as you can see, going. No, they're not going. It always seems like they're going really fast as the Ferrari driver now coming into the pits. That's going to be Zetterval going on to another set of tires. Interestingly enough, not sure what tire he's going on. Oh, 3 wide. Here comes Reliant down the inside of Daniel. And is it going to be ahead of the Red Bull driver? Seems like it is. Brandon now in the heated battle with High Gain. What tires are better, though? I still don't know. How much time is Reliant gaining? A little crash there. A lot of position changes. Hykane up to P3. Gunnar up to P5. We've got Maggot in a battle with Daniel. Not sure what happened with Daniel there. A broken front wing. Oh, and it's Maggot crashing out Gunnar. A lot of carnage here in Sector 2. And this is not great. Benny Bruno bumping up to P10 all of a sudden. Maybe even P9 if he can make this move stick on the Haas driver. Another wheel clinch between Benji and Benny and Kenji. Jesus, all of these names. Let's go back to the front of the pack. Aurelia definitely gaining a lot of time. And it was the right decision to go into the intermediates. I think both tires are currently as fast as each other. Aurelia definitely gaining a lot of time on Nexton there. But those are 80 level hards. They're not comparable with 3 level medium tires. Here comes Reliant. No DRS opportunity yet, but he's going to make that overtaking opportunity anyway. Dinosaur go side by side with each other. As it seems like Nexton has a little more straight line speed. A good thing for the Red Bull driver, because otherwise he would have definitely lost that position in the braking zone. Let's see how they shoot through turn 1. Doesn't seem like anyone is struggling right now. Into turn 2, into turn 3. And then we're going back to the front of the pack, to the middle of the pack. As that's going to be Kenji, Benny Bruno, and Romero battling for that top 9 position. Unsure what happened to Maggot earlier. Did he crash someone out? Did somebody crash him out? We don't know. That's going to be for the stewards later this race. As we might want to go on board with Aurelia here. Into the S's they go, and yeah, that's what we thought. Nexton is definitely struggling coming through the S's. He doesn't have the grip. The tires are old. It's raining as well, so this is not a good sign for the Red Bull driver. He's got to come into the pits anytime soon, or is he gonna stick and stay on the hard tires to finish off the race? That would be insane. If he finishes the race on the hard tires, we've seen drivers finish the race on 3 different compounds that are not only soft tires, dry tires. So here comes Aurelia down the inside, has a better exit out of the last corner, so I think he's gonna make this move stick, and it seems like it 110 right now for Nexton. As Hykane going down the inside. Dearest opportunity for many of the guys. Is Hykane gonna go into the lead of the race? Seems like he is on the medium tires. A move down the inside into turn 1. Beautiful overtake from Hykane, as Aurelia gotta be happy with the P2 there. Megan and Daniel. Another battle between both drivers, as Daniel loses another position there. A lot of snaps and stuff coming out of turn 3. And that's definitely a sign those hard tires are gone. Sorry, Red Bull, but you made kind of a Ferrari strategy there, I'm afraid. And Gunnar now on the tail of Nexton, and yeah, you can see there the Red Bull driver's not really doing well at the moment on the hard tires. Now let's focus on something else here, and that's going to be Gunnar making an overtake on that Red Bull driver. DRS opportunity for Gunnar. Doesn't seem like Nexton has a DRS opportunity. Will this be enough for Gunnar? No, it will not be. And also Brandon, a pretty good race there. 5 level medium tires. Let's see how many positions he's gained. He lost even a position. But Gunnar, I think he's... yeah, Gunnar is going to be scoring double points there. Let's have a look at that. Up into P2. As Hykane is coming into the pits as well. It's getting wet out there. It's getting slippery. And Nexton is just staying out. He's not going to come into the pits anymore. Brandon up into P3. Nexton is feeling the danger from behind. Stewart and Benny Bruno eventually had a very good comeback race there, as both drivers collided with each other halfway through the race, which caused a safety car. Stewart now down the inside of Nexton. Later on the brakes. I mean, obviously Nexton has to go early on the brakes, but he's going to shoot through anyway because he doesn't have the grip on the tires. Nexton and Benny Bruno side by side as well. Is going to come out ahead of that battle. Seems like it's Benny Bruno had a better exit coming out of turn 7. Brandon and Stewart's right now. Oh man, these battles are looking beautiful. Oh, a yellow flag. That is a Red Bull driver, and that's going to be Daniel losing the car. on the older tires, and that's going to be raised over, I'm afraid. Stewart now with a move down the inside. The DRS hasn't been disabled yet, so the guys are able to use DRS. Benny Buno around the outside, isn't going to back out, has the inside line right now, and this is looking great for Benny Buno. Brandon, who most likely wants to come into the pits, and he's not going to, into the penultimate corner. That's actually the last corner. Nixon now coming into the pits, and who has the DRS out of these two? Seems like it is the Mercedes driver. Brandon around the outside. Benny Buno has the DRS as well. Still unsure what tires are better. Brandon with a move down the inside, with a look down the inside. Doesn't go for it after all. Here we go. Benny around the outside. Ah, man. These are some feisty battles. Doesn't give up, though. Doesn't give up. Almost clinching wheels, but this time around it's not going to be the case. As Benny Buno now heading into the S's first, entering the top three. Stewart has a penalty anyway, so I don't think Benny Buno should be worried about that too much. By the way, Nellboy, I saw you deleted your message. If you want me to clip out the part where I said his name, just let me know. I can do that on YouTube. And now the DRS is disabled, so this means it's a crossover point between the mediums and the intermediates. Let's just have a quick look who's still on the intermediates. Brandon losing a lot of time there, especially to Kenji, to Skipper. Skipper with a good race. He came all the way from the back of the grid, and Brandon coming into the pits. And Maggot not giving up though. Still on those medium tires. He's going to finish the race on those mediums. I don't think it's going to be any other way for the Alpine driver. He waited too long. It's just that. Same for Nexton and Daniel. Look at where they are right now, out of the points. And they were waiting for that 1-2 for the Red Bull team. They've got Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez in the racing cars. But unfortunately, Matteo Binotto as their team principal and strategy team. So it is what it is, guys. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and this time they didn't really win. So yeah, dropping out of the points there. Nobody within 1 second of each other, so we're gonna be waiting for Maggot to come into the pits, because he's even gonna be losing more time. Skipper's most likely gonna get back within 1 second of Maggot. Although not really pushing though. Look at that, dropping out of that 2 second mark. Seems like he's waiting. He's just happy. He's just happy being into the top 8. Penalty wise, we are looking at 3 seconds for Romero, 3 seconds for Kenji, 6 seconds for Stewart. So that might be why Maggot is not really coming into the pits anymore. He's looking at a decent position here, especially seeing the guys behind him also have 3 seconds. So even if Skipper gains a position, he's gonna lose that again. Down the straight they go. Skipper doesn't have the opportunity to use the DRS, as the DRS has been disabled, but he's also not within 1 second. So I think it's even going to be more likely to see a battle between Zetterval and Skipper, because look at how much time Zetterval has gained in the last couple of laps. Coming out of turn 3 into turn 4. First he's got to get back into the slipstream, and that's exactly what he does right now. I'm really surprised that we didn't see that many crashes there with guys being on the medium tires. It's looking cloudy, it's raining. Oh, a little too soon on the throttle there. That was Zetterval. Has to watch out. It's not easy to race here in Mexico. Oh, and now there goes Maggot. Into the wall goes the Alpine driver, and that is race over, I'm afraid. I mean, no, not necessarily. He's still going to be scoring 2 points. As Heike now gets a 3 second time penalty. They're having a battle for... Oh, this is not looking great. That was Zetterval going into the back of Skipper. Oh, look at that. Heike with an aggressive move. Oh, that is not going to be... That is not too good. Fair enough, no, boys. Fair enough. Here we go, down the straight. And that was not great by Heike, and I think he forced Zetterval off track. But I don't, I mean, Zetterval is going to get back at him again. 3 more laps to go. 2 more laps after this one. High-Kane down the inside. Look at that. How aggressive is High-Kane right now? Way later on the brakes than Skipper. I think Skipper is just afraid of the rain right now. We saw him being really slow in Sector 2 as well. And we saw Zetterval gain a lot of time on Skipper as well a couple of laps ago. So I think it's one of the first times that Skipper is really racing in the rain here around Mexico, because otherwise he would be a little more aggressive on the brakes here. We're having a very interesting battle for P1 as well, with Gunnar Relliot and Benny Buno. I didn't see that coming, but look at this battle, a 3-way battle. And you know, usually around Mexico you'd say, oh yeah, P1 is already decided based on penalties. The top 3 doesn't even have penalties. So we're going to get Gunnar Relliot and Benny Buno to battle for that race win. I think Relliot is going to give that Gunnar guy, his very own teammate, a big help. He's going to get him a big help. And here's the reason why. Gunnar started with a joker, so that means that he's going to be scoring double points, which means that will be 50 points for Kick Sauber together with the extra points that Relliot is scoring right now. Doesn't seem like Relliot is making it too difficult. Benny Buno maybe with a move on the other Kick Sauber driver as well. Doesn't look like it. And Benny Buno could also score 50 points. So the top 2, as I said, have done a great job choosing their joker around Mexico. Anything can happen, and today we had three safety cars. Here comes Benny Buno into turn 4, makes up a position, looking at those 50 points with 1.5 more laps to go here around this Mexico Grand Prix. As my voice is getting lower, I mean getting worse and worse, as I haven't done commentary for quite some time now. Now Benny Buno seems to be, yeah, he's got the pace. Benny Buno has got the pace, and I think he's going to win this race as well. The McLaren driver heading into the last lap of this race, of this 50% race. 36 laps in total, which is one of the longest distance we have around the calendar of F1. Of course, if it's a 50% race. If it's a 100% race, I think 36 will be a very little amount. Into the last lap they go. Gunnar is still within 1 second, but oh, apparently Benny is not using a joker. I thought he was. Because here's the thing, he was doing laps, but he wasn't necessarily retiring, so he was doing laps and he was actually, I don't know. Isn't he using a joker? I thought he was. I mean, obviously, I don't know the information. You probably do, so I'm actually discussing it with myself right now. As High-Kane now gets past Kenji as well. Now, Gunnar, Megat, and Kenji were today's jokers. Okay, so we have 3 jokers. Still, though, I think Benny... I call him Benji. I don't know why. Benny... Sorry, buddy. Benji, I mean, he was doing laps. He was just always coming back into the pits. Maybe he's going to send you a message later on like, I started all the way from the back of the grid. Can I get a joker? That would be funny. I would see that happen in a league, actually. As Benny coming across Sector 3, the fireworks in the air already. I don't think that's very much suggested in if the guys are in a thunderstorm, because all that firework could splash into the crowd. There we go, the crowd happy, and we were seeing an Hungarian flag there right next to the Australian flag. As that will be Benny Buno as your race winner here around Mexico. Gunnar in P2 and Relliot in P3. High-Kane got back into P4 with Romero gaining 5 positions there. Good race by the Ferrari driver as well as Kenji, who's going to be scoring double points tonight as well. Zetterval in P7, Stewart in P8, Nexton in P9, still got within P9, so that's great. A small amount of points for Red Bull, and then we've got Skipper in P10. Daniel with a very unlucky race, sliding, coming across the finish line there, and the only driver who hasn't come across the line yet is Joey, together with, of course, Barry and Hammer, but they DNF'd in the pit lane. So they're not... No, Barry didn't. Hammer Suk might have had. or he crashed out himself. I don't really know. Doesn't matter that much. Here comes Joey across the line, and that will be your Mexican Grand Prix. There it says Formula 1 Gran Premio, and then I didn't see it anymore. Driver of the day is Benny Bruno in that McLaren car. Congratulations to you, buddy, as these will be the results for tonight. First, we got to look at the podium, of course. McLaren, and then accompanied by both the Kick Sauber drivers. Zach Brown on the right side of the podium. He's gonna gladly write down a check for Benny Bruno, although that will be a virtual check. Nobody is getting real checks here. Here we go, the results of tonight's race. Benny Bruno in P1, Gunnar in P2, and Reliant with the fastest lap as well is going to be in P3. Further, we've got Heike, Romero, Kenji, Zetterval, Stewart, Nixon, Skipper, Brandon, Megan, Daniel, Connor, Joey, Hayward, Buddy, and Hammersuk. The two last drivers didn't score any points or any... I mean, they didn't finish the race, so they're going to be classified DNF. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter that much. But a good race from many of the guys. Many of the guys came all the way from the back of the grid, back to the front of the pack. Benny Bruno, Gunnar, Romero, and Kenji, putting them into the spotlights there. Also, Skipper, a really good race. And then the most unluckiest duo... The most unluckiest oh my days. The most unluckiest duo here tonight is going to be Red Bull, without a doubt. P9 and P15, P14. Coming all the way from P1 and P2, so really unlucky for them, but I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, as I said before. But guys, thank you very much for watching the live stream here. It was my first commentary evening for you guys, so hopefully I didn't mess up that much. Hopefully you guys don't find my voice too annoying or anything like that, so just make sure to let me know what you thought of it. It's always good to hear some constructive feedback. And also make sure to like the video if you haven't already. You're not only supporting me with that, but also Delta T Racing. So guys, thank you very much. My name is Phoebe Thomas, as commentator, and I'm going to catch you guys next week. Peace out.